Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about a really tough topic actually, and there's so many people coming to me and asking like why those top guys in the Legend League have such a big gap between themselves and the other players. This is happening pretty much every day when I'm streaming or in the comments of my video, and I thought, okay, let's try to prepare a video where I can prove that those guys are cheating, they are abusing the system, and those are not the real top players. In addition to that, I will show you guys why all of those accounts are named Stephanie, because I got a bit of more in-depth information of a data miner which used like a program to track their trophies, etc. So I think I have a really good idea of what is happening, and I will talk about everything today in this video. Let's see whether I can convince you guys that those guys at the top are not that good that they want to make you think, because Dr. Muitaba and Stephanie, even though most of those players are using this name, they're not the actual players. And I will show you guys everything around that in a second. But first of all, let's talk about how the Legend League actually works, because you guys need this background information to actually understand the progress and how those guys are doing it. In Legend League, you are doing 8 attacks on yourself and getting 8 attacks onto yourself, which means 8 attacks and 8 defenses every single day. In addition to that, you have to know that you're getting attacked from trophy player or from players which are roughly on the same trophy level as you are, which means, for example, those top players at the top with 7,000 trophies will most likely get attacked from players which are within the range of the top 200, which means all of those guys who are in the top 200 will most likely not miss any of their attacks. We will come to this a bit later, but you can see this is how the Legend League works, which in the end means that you have to somehow get more on offense than you're getting on defense. With this system, it means you're getting bonus trophies, which means you're ranking up. This is how the system works, and let's try it, whether I can explain to you guys how those guys try to work around the system, try to exploit the system. Let's see if you guys know what I mean. But first off, let's try to get a bit more data in. Let's talk about 2 other players who are top pushers in Europe, Hugo Cygnets and Boom. Those 2 guys ranked up really high in the last season. This is like their finishes. And we talked about how often do you guys actually 1-star or even 0-star? And both of them were pretty similar in their answers. So Boom said that it's kind of rare that he 0-stars. Most likely when he's 0-starring, it's due to a disconnect or something like that, which means 0-stars can happen, but they're really unlikely. 1-stars, on the other hand, can happen. For example, Hugo said that in the last 10 days, he, for example, had not a 1-star, but it means that even those players have a couple of 1-stars in their season and over the entire duration of 3 to 4 weeks, which means it's not unlikely that 1-stars are happening, but 0-stars are mainly due to disconnects or someone, I don't know, sisters coming in or someone else, and is this touch and whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, I guess. And nothing like this is happening. It's really unlikely that one of those top players is actually 0-starring. And you guys can see as well, Sinti posted this on Twitter, where he shows that how one of his normal legendaries looked like. Those guys are getting crazy amount of trophies in offense, but at the same time they're getting attacked by the best players in the world as well, which means they're getting a huge pack minors on trophies in the defense as well. For example, on Sinti's part, this means that he took overall 312 trophies of his opponents and only had one fail basically with 32 trophies, and then he took around 280 plus trophies minus, which means he in the end is still in plus, but this means it's really tough to actually get plus over at the top. So this is how it basically works. But now let's talk about how did those guys actually be so far at the top. So how this works is that since all of them are basically one family like this, I don't know, I would call it the Stephanie family, maybe the Dr. Muitaba family, and they're pushing each other, this means there's one account which everyone is pushing. And this account is named differently. For example, Stephanie loves Dr. Muitaba, I guess. So as soon as they're attacking her, basically, she changed her name, like Hoa was first of her name. As soon as someone in this family is seeing, okay, that's the guy we have to push, they're just quitting the attack and give the guy a basically gifted defense, which means this is how she got overall, or he, I don't know, she got overall the 30 defenses. You guys can see this is one of her bases, which I will from now on call her a she. This is Boom attacking her base, and he got it. I don't know whether I would call it easy, but he got a triple on the base, which means it seems like that most of the time anti-2-star bases are getting used at the top, which means 1-stars are kind of likely. 1-stars are happening, and like we already saw in Hugo's and Boom's example, they're happening even to the top players. But 0-stars on a ring base, that's really unlikely to happen if you take in consideration that you're getting attacked from top 200 players. So this attack right now is showing how Boom is tripling the number 1 player. But, well, if you guys think that this is still not enough, like, this still do not show that it's not, like, it could be just a good base and the bases are just defending crazy well. That could be actually a case. And I mean, we only have one of her bases shown, which means it could be just a bad base because those top players are changing their bases daily or like every couple of days. So they have fresh bases because as soon as you're at the top, people are copying your bases, which is normal. But this means that they have to refresh their bases on a regular basis. So this is how they kind of have to work around, and maybe it's just a bad example. We will come to this a bit later again with more numbers, etc. But now, why do I make this video? And I make this video because there are a lot of top players who are really upset that they can't really make it to the top because there's this win trading going on. For example, like Hugo posted on Twitter a kind of funny post where he said, well, I had a good day, I'm pushing really well right now, but there are only those win traders above me which are having a crazy amount of defenses. We saw already in a couple of earlier posts how many defenses the rest of the players actually have. The normal range is between, I don't know, like 1 and 5, something like that, which is crazy if you consider that the number 1 guy has 30 defenses. This is, well, beyond crazy, I would call it. So you guys can see it's already really strange. But so far, I think I have not really proven anything. Like, I gave you a lot of examples why it's really unlikely, but I have not proven to you that it's not possible in that case. So let's try to take another step. Let's try to make even more examples of how those guys are actually cheating. And, well, for this, like I said in the beginning, we have a couple of data. We have a couple of numbers how those trophies work for the top players, or like how those trophies come together for those top players. And for example, let's take a look at the numbers, and then I can explain a bit better to you guys how this actually works. So a data miner on my Discord server, Vamo, collected over the last couple of days the trophy changes of the top players. What exactly does this mean? It means basically that whenever there's a change to the trophies of the top players, then he's seeing that in the defense or like an offense log, basically. So the system is basically collecting the trophies which are changed in a certain range of time, like a time window, basically. Which means, for example, the Stephanie, the number 1 guy, is doing all of her attacks always in the beginning of the first, like, of the day, which makes sense because she wants to stay at the top. So she has to get all of her offense in as fast as possible. So you can see all of the offense, for example, is collected as one post because it happened in a certain time frame, like a time window. So on offense on this first day, she got 250, which we already saw, like comparing to the real top players. With Cinti, it's not too much. But like I said in the beginning, this system is based on how you're getting in offense and defense. Like when you're doing great in offense, you have and you're doing really bad in defense as well, then it's equal. But if you're doing mediocre, like, I don't know, decent in offense and really good in defense, like somehow Stephanie, then it's still enough. Let's compare the numbers. We have 312 to those 250, which is basically not too much. And then let's take a look at the defenses, because this is where things are getting interesting. There are only 7 logs in there, which means it's that the defense trophies, overall the trophies, changed in defense only 7 times. What happened? In the beginning I said 8 attacks, 8 defenses. But this is what happens to Stephanie. Like, as soon as one of her teammates, clanmates, I don't know how you call that, actually is finding her, they're just quitting the attack and she's getting her trophies. Or like, she's not getting her trophies because, well, there's no trophies gained due defenses, how the new system works. So this is showing that she's only losing 202 trophies at this day. So let's make the math. Like, let's consider, okay, there are 30 defenses over the entire duration of the season, and 1 defense means you're not losing any trophies. Which means on average, those top players normally lose like around, I don't know, like 30, let's make it 30. I think it's more likely on the defense right now, what we are seeing, it's more likely like, I don't know, 28 something. But let's make the easy math, so it's like 30. So 30 times a defense, which would have cost her 30 trophies, which means overall 900 trophies are gained because of this win trading system. Which means, how should like a normal person, even though it might be the best player in the world, somehow get these trophies back? But let's take a look. Like, where would she be? Like 900 trophies below, she wouldn't be in the top 10. Those players are not bad by any means, don't get me wrong, but they are not the top players. In addition to that, I don't know whether you saw it in my cheat as well. Like the numbers I posted, or like I showed you a couple of seconds ago. You saw as well, those players are getting paid to change their names. So like, for example, Stephanie, Dr. Muitaba, whatever. If you think that the top 4 players are actually Stephanie, you're damn wrong. Like, those are just like, basically, I don't know, it's marketing basically. So for example, for Dr. Muitaba, everyone knows Dr. Muitaba. Most of the people actually think Dr. Muitaba is a good player, but he's just paying good players to change the name for money. So he's having like a, I don't know, like a good image. And those people who are doing this are just crazy, and I don't really get the point behind that. I mean, the paying money for changing the names is kind of like a nice thing for the really good players, I think. But the big issue, in my opinion, is the win trading. If someone is giving, I don't know, like, let's say Boom or Sinti or Hugo, what, I don't know, like any top pusher, a lot of money for changing the name, and they say, yeah, sure, why not? That's not against the rules, or that's not against fair play, whatever. That's basically marketing from the one person, for example, for Stephanie, showing everything, like showing everyone that the name is really high up. That's kind of funny, actually. But the big problem I have, and a lot of other really good players have, is that the issue is with having the win trading going on. And I think with this, we're coming back to this point where a couple of, actually most of the really good pushers, and once again, I'm not talking about myself. Like, if someone's saying, yeah, you're getting upset, whatever, I'm not talking about myself. I would not say, or I would not consider myself right now as a top pusher or whatever. I'm talking like for other players, basically, because I have the audience and I can speak to all of you, basically. So you guys saw in all of the tweets, etc. So what is happening? What is going on? I hope I was able to prove to you guys that those players are not any better than the real pro players, or like the real pusher gods. I don't know how to call them, but those players did not deserve those spots. Those players were cheating. Those players were win trading, and I just hope that Supercell's reacting. I hope that there's, I don't know, like, I don't know what even to call, I don't know, I just hope that it's not possible anymore in any further leagues, whatever, to cheat or like to win trade. I don't know, that would be the perfect solution. But I don't know if there's a perfect solution. And let me guys know whether I was able to convince you guys that those players are not playing fair, or if you guys still think, I don't know, your points, iTzu, they didn't convince me. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video because it was more like an explanation video. I hope I was able to do a great job to try to get all of the information to you guys. And well, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, see ya, bye bye.